top 15 running backs.
Is the biggest risk-reward player in the league.
Teams are going to be shitting down their pants seeing Henry and Lamar. Talent alone, this guy's probably like a top 3 running back with his speed, catching. He can catch the ball, and vision. He has good vision.
He's probably the most gifted running back. If they picked anyone that was bagging groceries, it would be the quarterback.
Pick someone else other than McCaffrey, you should just beat him up or something like that, or kick him out of the league. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Catching a Vibe. I'm your host, Drew, and we got the fantasy guru back on, Mike. My dad. How are we doing today, Dad?
Good. Happy to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Should be fun again. I had a great time last time, so we'll see how it goes this time.
Yep. So last week we did our top 10 quarterbacks. So if you haven't watched that video, go ahead, watch that real quick, then come back to this one. Today we are doing our top 15 running backs. We're going to do 15, 11. We're just going to skim through. We're just going to name the guys. Then when it gets to our top 10, that's when we're going to get more in depth with who we have at what pick.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
15 for us.
My 15 is going to be James Cook.
Okay. My 15 is Josh Jacobs.
14's Rachaad White for me.
14's Joe Mixon.
13's Josh Jacobs.
13 is James Cook.
All right. 12's Travis Etienne for me.
Okay. 12 for me is Rachaad White.
11's going to be Joe Mixon.
11, Joe Mixon. My 11 is De'Von Achane. So now to our top 10.
All right. Well, my number 10 is Isaiah Pacheco from Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
I like his size. He's got great speed. Runs the ball hard. I mean, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's all you heard. Last year, this guy runs so hard. But no, seriously, he's in such a great position. I mean, Kansas City's offense is such a good team to be on. Great fit. They're going to move the ball downfield, and he's going to be in the red zone all the time. He's looking like he's going to be a third down back on this. This is what you want when you're drafting running backs, a guy that's on the field all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want the guy subbing in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So I got him. He played 14 games last year. He missed at the end of the season, he missed a couple games.
Mm-hmm.
He had 205 carries in these 14 games, had 935 yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, 44 receptions. Definitely like a guy that's out of the backfield catching the ball. That's what you want in a PPR format.
Mm-hmm.
He added 244 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, a total of 9 touchdowns. I just look for him to have a big year this year on an explosive Kansas City team. I think all those numbers are coming up because he has no one pushing him in the backfield. McKinnon's not signed, and Hilaire is
CEH. He's faded out.
He's proved that he's not the guy anymore, and I just think he's in line to have a big season.
Yeah. So my 10 is also Pacheco. You stole my pick there. Like you said, he's on the Chiefs offense. They're going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns this year, so that's great for him. He's got the backfield to himself. He had 900 rushing yards in 14 games, 44 catches. He's going to get more catches now since Jerick McKinnon's out.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, he's going to be a third down back this year, and that's what you want in fantasy.
Oh, sure. Yeah. A lot of these other guys you see are splitting.
Yeah.
And it's hard to pick these guys just because they're sharing time and they're not getting opportunities.
Yeah.
So I agree. I mean, that's why we have them at the same. So I'm going to go with my number 9 is the biggest risk-reward player in the league, and he's the most explosive guy. De'Von Achane from the Dolphins. Probably the fastest guy on the field. I mean, this guy's the game breaker right here, you got to love that. They're on great receivers. They're going to open up the field. he's going to get all these dink and dunk passes underneath. He's a great catching the ball. You know, if he stays healthy, that's his big question mark. He's
Right.
kind of a smaller guy with great speed.
Mm-hmm.
So if he stays healthy, sky's the limit for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had 800 yards, 8 TDs, 27 catches, 197 yards, 11 total TDs. Those are all coming up. He missed some time last year. That's why those numbers aren't very high. But yeah, I really like Devon Achane. Only knock is they still got Mostert there. They got some running backs that will eat away from his. But if Mostert goes down, I mean, this guy could be the difference maker on your team. He could be a league winner.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody's drafting him super high. You know, you're trying to get that league winner guy right there.
Mm-hmm. He's like the Anthony Richardson of running backs. I mean,
yes,
the potential is there.
Potential.
You gotta stay healthy, and Mostert does scare me, so that's why he's not in my top 10.
Yeah,
he's 11 for me. I definitely could easily see him being a top 5 fantasy running back. Just for right now in July, I'm putting him at 11. So 9 for me. I have Travis Etienne. He's been pretty consistent since coming into the league. Last year, he had 1,000 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, 4 separate games. He had 2 touchdowns in them. He's 5th in receiving yards as a running back. He started off pretty good last year. Then towards the end, he kind of fell off because the Jaguars were banged up. You know, Trevor Lawrence was banged up. Etienne is a pretty darn good back, and he doesn't have much competition. He has Tank, Bigsby, and I think Dearness Johnson's still there. So
no,
it's his backfield again.
I like him too. He's the other third down back that's constantly on the field. He's only getting a breather. You know, they're taking him off and bringing somebody in for a couple plays, and then are getting him right back in there. And the thing with him is his catches has come up. You know, he's starting to catch the ball. He proved that he's a worthy back out of the backfield to catching passes. So I definitely like that. It was hard not to put him in my top 10.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Number 8,
I got Derrick Henry. Just in a great situation being on Baltimore's team. They're such a run-heavy oriented team that I think he's just going to get opportunities galore on this team. You know, they're one of the best offenses in the league. I think he's going to be in the red zone a ton, and they're going to turn around and hand it off to him, and he's going to score. I think he's going to score a lot of touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
He's at the age 30, he's still putting up big numbers. He had 1,167 rush yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, 28 receptions, 214 receiving yards. Not bad for him. He was second in rush yards in the league, and he led the league in carries. So you got to love that. You got to want the guy. You're going to pick a running back. You want a guy that touches the ball.
Right.
So I think he's going to have a decent year this year. It's kind of scary. They got some running backs behind him, that Keaton Mitchell, who looked like he was pretty good last year, but he's coming off an ACL, so I don't think he's going to be much of a factor. But I think he's in a good situation there, so I got to have him in as number 8.
I like that pick. Number 8 for me, I'm going Kyren Williams. I think he was like the biggest surprise, like running back wise. Nobody was expecting this guy to be a top 5 fantasy running back. Last year, he had 228 carries, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns, in only 12 games. That's what a lot of people are forgetting. You see that he's at the top of the running backs, but he only played 12 games. But he was averaging 18 a game, and the highest he scored was 38 points last year. So 9th in scrimmage yards, too, with 1,300. The thing that scares me about Kyren is Corum getting drafted. I think he's going to get a couple carries. Then he's banged up to start training camp. I saw he had surgery in the offseason, and he's still recovering from that. So he's not 100% yet. So that's just something to look out for.
I like Kyren. Yep. So my number 7 is going to be Jonathan Taylor. I like him. I think, he's going to have a big year. He's removed from his contract issues. That's all settled. He's going to start the year healthy. The beginning of last year, he was banged up. So getting QB Richardson back, I think, is going to help spread the field a little bit and get him running the ball. I think he's going to have a successful year. He averages almost 17 carries a game. You got to like that. He gets about 2.5 targets per game. I think those numbers are going to come up. I think there's no one behind him really as far as taking carries. I mean, he's going to dominate the carries. I just see that he's such a good back out of the, going for passes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to boost those numbers up. So I like Taylor. I think I put him at number 7. I think he's going to have a better year this year. So I got him as my 7.
I think that's pretty low compared to me.
Yeah.
But there's a spoiler for you boys.
Yeah.
Number 7 for me, I have Derrick Henry. I mean, it's King Henry. I know he's 30 years old, but this is the perfect offense for him with the Ravens culture of just smash mouth running the ball at you 30 times. And teams are going to be shitting down their pants seeing Henry and Lamar. Like, who we stop,
Right.
I think, we talked about the quarterbacks. Like, does that hurt Lamar?
Yeah.
That Henry's in town,
Yeah.
but I don't think so. I think that helps both of them because it relieves some pressure on both of their backs because of how good those guys are. And like, I think there's going to be more RPOs, more, just running for Henry. And the Titans offense struggled last year. So he's going to get opportunities with this Ravens offense. Like you said, he had 280 carries, first in the league, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns. Like, Derrick Henry can still play ball. Let's not get that mistaken.
He still puts up them big stats. Yep, I agree with you. Derrick Henry's in line for a big season. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I agree. So my number 6 is Kyren Williams. So I was a little higher on him than you. I mean, this guy lit it up last year, right? I mean, a Rams offense, no one suspected them being any good.
Yeah.
And this guy just come out of nowhere and, was 3rd in rushing. He had 1,144 rush yards, 12 touchdowns, 32 receptions, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, 15 total touchdowns for the year. I just think that the Rams offense is going to be healthy this year with Cooper Kupp healthy. And what's
Puka?
Yeah, Nakua's there. I just think they're going to spread the field a little bit and give him opportunities to run the ball. I think he's going to have a big year. He played 80% of the snaps, of the offensive snaps. So I love that he's on the field all the time. This guy's always out there in 12 games. So he was banged up a little bit, but he was always on the field. Led the league in carries, 19 carries a game. I think he did pretty well. I'm excited about him. I think he's going to have another solid season. Yeah, they got Corum, but I just don't see him chipping away enough to knock him down out of the top 10. I think he's still going to be a factor, and he's going to have a solid season.
Yeah, don't blame me there. Number 6 for me, I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs. This guy is such a beast. He reminds me a lot of a young Kamara. I mean, talent alone, this guy's probably like a top 3 running back with his speed. Most of the time, he's the fastest player on the field. Catching, he can catch the ball. One of the best pass catching running backs in the league. And vision, he has good vision. I think that gets underappreciated in his game. Last 12 games of the year, because the first 4, Dan Campbell was just refusing to give this guy the ball. So he scored 10 touchdowns in those games. And when Monty was hurt, he was averaging 20 points and more a game. Like in the postseason, I know it's playoffs. That's passive fantasy. games, but he scored in every one of those, and
Mhm.
he was phenomenal in the playoff game. So I expect him to get more involved
Yeah.
with this
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
The only thing that scares me is Monty.
Like you said, at the end of the year, his usage
Mm-hmm.
was getting more and more and more. He started the season not touching the ball.
Yeah.
Uh, Montgomery took most of the
Yeah.
snaps, and he had a great season. But
Oh, no doubt.
I agree with you. That's my number 5, Jahmyr Gibbs. Just great speed, great catching ability. Only problem is he's got to share with David Montgomery. Right now, if he drops off, that's going to set up Jahmyr to be an amazing. I mean, he could easily be a top 3.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a athletic, talented kid at speed. I like him. I mean, he ranked 8th PPR and non PPR points per game scoring. So this guy is a juggernaut. I mean, he's going to score a lot of points for you. He had 945 rush yards, and he only played so many games. He had 10 rushing touchdowns, 52 catches.
Mm-hmm.
You love that. You love to see that in a PPR format. 316 receiving yards, 1 touchdown, 1 catching touchdown. So 11 total for the season. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's going to be solid this year. And if he gets the full-time start, he's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So.
My number 5 here, I'm going Saquon Barkley. I mean, everybody knows how talented Saquon is, except for maybe the Giants because they look like big idiots on Hard Knocks right now. But I just feel like we're going to finally see that Saquon that was one of the best running backs in the league. The Eagles have a great offensive line. That's something new for Saquon. Usually he's fighting for his life just to get back to the line. They might have the best offense in the league too. So just the opportunities for Saquon is going to be there, I believe. And they're talking about getting him more involved in the passing game. That's something I think the Giants were lacking with Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
Now his rookie year, he had 80 catches. That was tied with Reggie Bush for the most all time for a rookie running back.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see him getting in that range of 50 to 60. He could break a couple runs this year.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to worry about is Jalen Hurts. Is he going to sit down in the end zone and take all of the rushing touchdowns? But talent, you look at the talent, Saquon Barkley easily should be a top 5 fantasy running back this year.
Yep, I agree. He's my number 4 running back. He's probably the most gifted running back in the league. This is the best team he's going to be on, best offense in the league. He's going to be in the red zone. He's going to score a lot, and he's going to get a lot of opportunities. Last year, he had 962 rush yards, 6 touchdowns, 41 receptions, 280 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, total of 10. I think that he's in a great opportunity there. So Swift's gone. Swift had 229 carries. Now that's going to Saquon. Saquon has nobody behind him I think is going to compete with him. He had 49 targets, Swift, when he was there. So all this is going to Saquon. I think he's going to have a good year. He's set up on one of the best offenses, so he's ready to rock and roll.
And you look at Kellen Moore, look at all the great years Zeke had with Kellen Moore, so that helps him a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you there. He's definitely going to help Saquon, put him in the best opportunities, best situations out on the field. So, yeah, Saquon's in line for a big season.
So my number 4 is a guy you're a little bit lower. I got Jonathan Taylor. Was banged up last year, he had the contract issues too. But people are forgetting 2021, he was RB1. I mean, he was ridiculous that year. The last 5 games last year, he scored 6 touchdowns. Got a good offensive line. I like their coach too. He seems like a great offensive-minded coach. The same thing you got to worry about is Anthony Richardson. Is he going to get 12 rushing touchdowns last
Right.
year? They don't have Zach Moss either, so it's his backfield
Yeah,
to dominate.
exactly.
So that's why I have Jonathan Taylor at 4.
I agree. These next three are just
Yeah.
the big guys. My number 3, it was hard to choose between my 3 and 2.
Yeah.
I'm going with Brees Hall. Just he's 1 year more removed from his ACL. He's getting Aaron Rodgers back. I mean, the Jets are going to be a lot more explosive than they were last year. They had I think they picked anyone that was bagging groceries to be the quarterback for this team. I think that's going to create opportunities for Brees Hall. He's fast. He's got good hands. Look, he's going to have a great year. He's had almost 1,000 rush yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 76 catches, 591 yards, 4 touchdowns. All right. He had 95 targets, the most in the league. So you love that if you're in a PPR format, right? He had 223 attempts rushing. That's great. He had the most receiving yards, 591. Second, scrimmage yards. So this guy's their everything, right? You got to love that. 1,500 total scrimmage yards. So I think all those numbers are coming up. They beefed up their receiving core a little bit and their offensive line. I think the sky's the limit for Brees Hall. I just struggle to putting him up that one more notch.
Yeah.
I think the guy ahead of him or the 2 guys ahead of him are better.
Yeah.
So
my number 3 is also Brees Hall. Coming off that ACL, the stereotype is you never want to draft a running back coming off the ACL tear, but I mean, Brees Hall just smashed those. The first 4 games, he was limited, but that first game against the Bills, it was Monday night, right? Or Monday night or Sunday night. He had 150 yards on 10 carries. I mean, just if he sees one gap, he's most likely gone.
Yeah, he's the home run hitter for this team, yes.
The biggest home run hitter right now in the league. He had 76 catches. I don't know if he's going to get 76 catches with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers isn't just dumping it off to the running back like grocery store Zach Wilson is. So that's going to go down a little bit. If Rodgers stays healthy and the Jets O-line is better, if they picked up a couple guys in free agency, Brees Hall easily could be RB1 or RB2,
Easily.
Easy. So that's why I have Brees Hall. I mean, you knocked it.
Yeah. So my number 2 is Bijan Robinson. Very talented, both as a running back and a receiver. They're going to get a little bit of better QB play with Kirk Cousins there, which is going to create red zone opportunities. Bijan, that was the only knock, is he didn't have many rushing touchdowns.
Right.
They act like they're going to turn this guy into Christian McCaffrey. They're going to turn him loose. He's that 3 down back. He's that guy you want. You better draft him early. If you got an early pick in the draft, I'm picking him because he's going to touch the ball a ton. He had almost 1,000 rush yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. That's going to come up. I think he's going to get at least 10. He had 58 receptions, 407 yards. Those are all great numbers. Those are going to come up a touch. He had 4 receiving touchdowns. I just think that he's in a good situation. He averaged about 12.7 carries a game, 5 targets a game. I love that in PPR. All those are coming up. This guy is just super talented, ready to explode.
Yeah.
Could be number 1 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
The opportunity's there. So that's why I have him at 2.
Yeah. Smart thinking there. Number 2, I have Bijan Robinson. Arthur Smith is gone. Finally, get that putz out of town.
Yeah.
Just for some reason, he did not want to overwork Bijan. I mean, Bijan averaged like 12 carries a game. That's ridiculous for how talented he is.
That's going to be higher.
58 catches is encouraging. This guy is explosive. The cuts he has, he's just a full package. And, last minicamp, they were lining him up at receiver. He does take snaps at slot. And that's what you want from the receivers now. But if you get a running back that's lining up as a slot, that's cash right there. And Kirk Cousins is 1,000 times better in Ridder, so that's just going to make this offense better. And the Falcons are a pretty good team, so they're going to be up in games, and they're going to try to chew the clock running out with Bijan. That's why I have him at 2. He could easily be the first overall pick in fantasy next year with how high my hopes are.
Yep. So
everybody knows where this is going.
Everyone knows you better pick Christian McCaffrey. If you get the first pick in your fantasy draft, you better pick him. If you go with one of these receivers, you're making a big mistake. Until this guy falls off the face of the earth, he is the most risk-reward guy there is. This guy, I want to say, probably 80% of everybody's lineups that made it to the Super Bowl, he's on that team.
Yeah.
You better pick him. If he falls, then you fall. Oh well. But he's worth picking as number 1 overall. Period. There's not a receiver out there I would go with if I had a number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Stats. This guy was just amazing, and he's on the same team. They're going to play around him. He's their everything. He had 1,400 rush yards. I mean, just amazing. 14 rushing touchdowns, 67 receptions, 570 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns receiving, 21 total touchdowns. I mean, this guy is just a scoring machine. There's no slowdown in this guy. He had 395 fantasy points last year. That averaged 24.7 PPR per game, points per game. I mean, you got to pick him. 17 carries a game. I mean, that's unheard of in this day and age now, where running backs don't get used as much. They're throwing a lot more, but they use him. That offense goes through him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to pick CMC as your number 1.
No doubt. Just every year I pick him first overall. He tears his ACL or just gets banked out, plays 4 games. But you're absolutely right. He has to go first overall. If your buddy picks someone else other than McCaffrey, you should just beat him up or something like that, or kick him out of the league. Anything like that. There is no flaws in this man's game. He is the best pass catching running back, and he's underrated as just a pure runner. He hits the holes now. It's not like his rookie year. He's a big boy now. He runs between the tackles great. He's on a great offense. Kyle Shanahan loves Christian McCaffrey. He's the focal point of this 49ers offense. 21 touchdowns last year. If you just put a parlay down for any time McCaffrey touchdown, you're probably up $1,000 because he scored all the time. Just the one thing I'm a little worried about is the Madden curse. He's on Madden this year. That's the only flaw in Christian McCaffrey's game.
I'll take that risk.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I'll take that risk. He's just amazing, and the offense is set up to protect him in ways. They give him the ball a lot, but they also get him out in open space. He's not just crashing it up into the tackles, where he's getting banged up a little bit. But, yeah, he's clear-cut number 1. Yeah. I can't see you choosing anyone else other than him.
No, but that was our top 15 running backs. That was good. We had a lot of similar picks, and we had a couple that you were higher, I was higher on.
Yeah, right. And that's that's the fun part about this. It's everybody's opinion. We did our homework, and that's
Mhm.
where our guys came in at. And
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I had fun.
Yeah. Thanks again for coming on. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. And if you're new here, please subscribe. We're definitely going to be doing more fantasy videos. You know, coming up soon is our draft video.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Next week, we have our top 15 receivers.
Mm.
So stay tuned
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Peace.